Can't recall how I did it. There it is. Okay, we're good. Might be able to pull that off. Cool. Hello. Welcome to We Were Gamers, episode 392. 392. I have an announcement.
Announcements.
Dun, 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 dun.
We've been playing enough Nintendo Switch in this house, enough Mario Kart, that after 7 years, my initial Switch now has stick drift.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Time to get a Switch too.
Yep, it happened last week. I noticed that one of the sticks, I was constantly turning to the left, and now I play with that one to handicap myself versus the Chillins.
But I assume you still know how drifting works in that game, so it doesn't matter, right? They don't yet?
Stick drift doesn't matter literally at all, as long as you know that it's happening.
You can
Okay.
compensate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just sort of drive to the right a little, and then you're already sliding anyway, so whatever.
The annoying part about stick drift is like if you set the controller down or whatever and it's on the menu, then it freaks out, right?
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
like spamming across or whatever.
Yeah, it's not horrifically bad. It might even be inside the dead zone for the menus. I haven't particularly noticed it outside of that, but you definitely notice it when racing. The car pulls to the left.
Do you guys remember when you would accidentally boot up your PS1 and not hold it perfectly still? Or was it the PS2? Must have been the PS2 because it was the Joy-Cons. If it booted up with them tilted, it would log the tilt as the 0 position.
What in the world?
Oh no.
You don't remember this?
No.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
bad.
This is not new. This is news to me.
I thought it was the PS2. Maybe it was a.
Did you have some sort of
Maybe it was
off-brand
no. You know
controller?
what? Maybe it was one of the controllers that I had for my laptop way back
Yeah.
when.
Off-brand
that had these
controllers.
problems. Yeah.
You know, I would believe anything for previous to Steam actually telling people they needed to make controllers work with their computer.
Oh, it was well before that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I remember the good old days of like, I've got to install special drivers for my Logitech controller.
Yep. And then remap all the keys individually for each game.
Yep.
Bro, it wasn't even that long ago that I had to install drivers to get a PS3 controller working on the PC. Like, it was that bad for that long.
Yeah.
And then, like, the 360 controllers got accepted everywhere, it seemed like, and then
Well, because
eventually
Windows was like, what if we had all these controllers that people just already have and they could use them with their PCs also?
And it took a while for the Sony ones to come around, but then by the DualShock 4 period, they were finally on board.
Well, Sony is getting on board with PC quite a bit these days, as it happens. They simul-released their first ever game across 2 platforms at once, I believe. Did you hear about how to spread managed democracy across the galaxy, you guys?
Is that true? Is that the first time they've actually done that and released 2 things on both PC and PlayStation?
I think it is the first time they've released simultaneously, yes. Now, they didn't run the same version for this. Turns out the PC update and the PS5 update that they tried to push at the same time, the PC one had to get rolled back immediately for having problems with AMD drivers or something like that.
Yeah, that's a bad look.
Yeah, I'm talking about Helldivers 2, Managed Democracy.
Yeah, Andrew, you're really bearing the lead. The lead is Super Earth.
Super Earth. Possibly not the only Super Earth, it turns out. I've been reading some of the lore from Helldivers 1.
Oh, there's lore. Okay, sweet.
It appears that at the end of Helldivers 1, we lost the war and Super Earth was destroyed. So this may be another Super Earth?
Or is that just what the propaganda wants you to think?
It's true. I will now be reported and taken to the ministry to be reassigned to the front line. What a game. Okay, so it's too popular for its own good. They had to cap the servers at 450,000 people.
By the way, to be clear, when Andrew says too popular, Helldivers 2 at a certain point was within striking distance of being the 4th most played game in concurrence on Steam all time.
More than
Wow.
let's see what
The
I think it
fourth
was just
most-
underneath the just underneath Counter-Strike or something like that.
Counter-Strike was way up there. It depending on the time, right, ebbs and flows, but like at the high watermark point, it had more people playing at the same time on Steam than only 3 other games have had higher numbers, right? It's like Dota 2, Counter-Strike are both way, way, way up there. And then like one of those battleground games, I think, is the next one. And then it's like Helldivers and Baldur's Gate 3. Like, and those are like peaks, right? And Helldivers is artificially limited.
Yeah. They
So it
can't
could have
take
been
any
higher.
more people. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
They literally the CEO of whatever not Sony, the company that made Helldivers, was on Twitter or whatever platform he uses for social media with people being like, "Hey, I heard the servers are capped. Should I buy the game?" And he goes, "No.
Please
No,
wait. Buy it later
wait.
when you will have a
Yeah.
better time.
Wait and don't buy it now. Let's get the servers sorted out. You guys can all jump in later." They did institute a policy for kicking AFK people because once people heard the servers were capped, they just left their computers on.
Ooh.
By the way, very funny that they created a multiplayer game and didn't have that to start with, right? Like that shows the level of expectations they were having.
Well,
And then
Helldivers
how,
1
like,
was a
far it got blown out of the
top-down
water.
shooter, right? And was not super popular.
Right. I see how you get to the expectations, right? Like, that's not the concern. The concern is like they made an online multiplayer game and they never had a thought about like, well, what if people are just
Yes.
like idling there? Because like, who cares? Whatever, right?
Right.
Oops.
Well, Michael, it's online only.
Okay.
So, and it's persistent in a weird way. So what the game is I don't know if I might be able to scrub through footage for you guys to look at, but essentially you have your character, which is a nondescript unnamed person called a Helldiver. You don't even get to name your character. You only get to name the ship your character lives on, because your character is gonna die a lot.
Well, but hold on, Andrew. What'd you pick? You got to tell us the name of the ship, dude.
Oh no. Gauntlet of what was it? Gauntlet of now I have to scrub the footage. Now you know I have to scrub the footage, right?
Oh, no.
The first time I did log in, by the way, I was a hit with the servers are too full message. So
That makes sense.
right, yeah. Herald of Liberty is what I ended up settling on my ship. Herald of Liberty.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. So you get a list that you can pick 2 different things, like adjectives and a noun. So it's like
X of Y.
X of X, you know? Yeah. X of Y, yeah, not X of X.
Can you pick both? That'd be very funny if they Herald
of Herald.
Herald of Heraldry.
No, yeah, that'd be weird. Nope. So you don't get to pick your character name because you're gonna die a lot. And it's a third-person shooter, let's say, with a lot of thought, I think, put into the idea of this Starship Troopers-esque world of Earth out in space trying to spread humanity out, and everyone is against us, but it's not really clear that we're the good guys if you look beyond the veil. But the story...
The Starship... Hold on. The Starship Trooper vibes are, like, immaculate, Michael. It is... It very much in the way that Starship Troopers is so good of a satire. Are we the baddies, though? Like, this doesn't look good. They're talking about, like, giving kids guns and stuff. It's, like, not good. You know, the impression that, like, oh, everything is great back home. And you, like, think about for a second what they're actually showing you, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
I mean, I did clip a bunch of sound effects from Starship Troopers to use on my soundboard while playing. I got it on PC, despite people saying it might not work perfectly with the PS crossplay. But so far it's been okay. We've had a little bit of audio trouble trying to get connected, but other than that, the game has run pretty well. I think it was hit or miss there in the first week or two. They seem to be doing an okay job keeping it stable. The lore not fleshed out in a way that you need to care about. There are like rogue transmissions and there's logs on the ground you can pick up for environmental storytelling that'll tell you things like JJ saying, like, are we the baddies? I don't know. There's hints that we're fighting against the bug race, and it's like, maybe we're killing the bugs because they produce oil. And like,
Ooh.
Yeah. And then there's the cyborg robot race that might be the descendants of Super Earth 1, maybe. So.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And there's 2 empty spots on the map also. And I used the word persistent earlier. They decided to make this cool idea, much like what's that game that underpins Pokemon Go? The one in the real world where you take over command points, and it was really popular for a while. People were flying to other countries to try and take over zones for their online teams and stuff. I don't remember if anybody else knows what I'm talking about here.
Not ringing a bell.
All right. Well, that type of game. The map is persistent. So when you do a mission, it adds to the points of the planet, and it will say like, okay, well, there's 10,000 Helldivers playing on this planet right now, and every mission you complete adds like 0.01% to the control total of the planet. And the missions you can pick are easy or hard, and the more difficulty they have, the more points you add to the planet. There's side missions in each mission, so like you'll drop down to refuel an ICBM, and you drop into a map much like a extraction mode shooter or whatever, with glorious patriotic music, Michael.
Okay.
Playing, blasting in your speakers while your drop pod fires towards the planet from your ship,
Yep.
And you smash into the planet and do the like ODST Halo thing, and pretty good, pretty fun in that aspect, and fun to know that you're affecting the game as a whole. So there's Reddit communities and Discord communities popping up to try and say, okay, everybody go to this planet at this time and all that. This is kind of cooperative in that way. There's some drama over streamer groups like going to planets and not really behaving in a team-like fashion. They're just there to like extract with stuff and build their character up. And you're kind of like, well, the cool thing they did in the game is like there's these things you're supposed to collect, samples, right? Like you're supposed to bring home red, green, and blue items from the floor, which basically is that's it. Just bring home these things. Well, it doesn't matter who brings them home. As long as someone gets them onto the dropship, everybody gets the points.
Okay.
But you'll have these people team killing each other over these things because they don't understand the rules. I haven't personally run into this because my group that plays Warzone has switched over to this. So we all play as a squad, and there's no issue, right? Because we're all talking to each other. We all understand how the game works. But I do wonder how that'll affect the game long term. Hopefully not too bad. Because I think part of the joy of it is the ridiculous nature of the combat and the amazing moments for teamwork. They have taken every chance they can to make the game really cinematic in the even the fighting and the moments that you can have. Pretty fun. JJ, I was also telling him about the music, and just have these moments where they hit these really brass patriotic cues. Horns playing as you're like dropping down to the planet,
Very much on the Starship Troopers and like glorious space empire fascism stuff.
Very good. and the persistent planets go so far as to tell you, like, when you drop a orbital strike from your character, you have to punch in like a fighting game combo, like up left right left on your D-pad while you're fighting. And then you have to call it in, and you throw the little smoke bomb, which has a giant laser on it, right? You can look past the edges of your map and you'll see laser lights going up into the sky. Those are real call-ins from other players happening on other maps.
Oh, you're burying the lead here, Andrew. You can call in the orbital strike with the laser, and it just annihilates everyone that's there, including you, including your teammates,
Yeah.
including anything. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how big the, like, you know, and because it's just a little, like, thrown little, like Andrew said, you throw the little thing and it has the little light.
Yep.
You can throw it wherever. You can bounce it off walls. You can
Yeah.
like do all kinds of funny stuff. And, like, you know, if you're in the heat of battle, you're entering this like fighting game code, like you.
Are you playing this game?
No,
you know
no,
too much about
I've watched a bunch of people play.
I'm like, you got to get on our team. We need a fourth.
I would be interested. You enter the fighting game code and you're like running away. You throw the thing, and it ricochets off a thing and bounces back and lands right in front of your teammate and blows them the heck up. You know, like that's the other thing you can totally.
I mean,
do.
we really buried the lead. There's friendly fire
on everything.
On everything. So, like, I can throw down an automated turret. Well, don't stand in front of my automated turret because it'll just mow you down.
True to form.
Yeah. But even on your ship, when you look out at the planet beneath you, you can see people playing on the maps and calling in orbital strikes, and their ships are their ships in space around you. It's kind of crazy.
That sounds wild, and I can see why it would be popular.
Well, it seems to me that they really took some sort of nugget of, we want Helldivers 2 to be a community-based game. And then when they thought about adding things, they're like, does this add to the idea that people are playing together or going to have fun cinematic moments together? And if it doesn't seem to do that, it's not in the game. It's very lean overall as a game. You have your mission hub, you have your upgrade hub. They're both on your ship, and you have your maps that you can go do third-person fighting on. That's it.
Yeah, and you sort of see how it gets there, right? I mean, this was not a high-budget title. This was something that was intended to be like a fun little multiplayer thing that people would get into. And, you know, you can see that, like Andrew said, it's very sparse in certain areas because they were just like, hey, we're just making a fun little thing. You know, if we get some people to do the thing, it's great. It's good enough. They have enough to do and it'll be fun. They didn't like have to build a battle pass, although I think they have that now, right? Probably.
They do. It's like the Halo battle passes. They're persistent, and you can pay $10 to unlock the premium ones, and they're just there for whatever tokens you want to use on them. You get medals for finishing missions, and the medals get used on the free one, which is also persistent, and the paid ones, which will keep coming every once in a while, but they stay there, so it's not the end of the world.
But it doesn't have, like, you know, huge amounts of DLC. It doesn't have like 10,000 paid cosmetics and stuff. It's just like,
yeah, there
got some
seem
stuff,
to be,
you know,
there seem to be some paid cosmetics, maybe, but they're sparse and they rotate, and they've already been rotated through a couple times. Some of the armors in the battle passes are inherently better than the stock ones you get, but there are free battle pass versions of all the ones in the paid ones, so it's just cosmetic eventually.
Okay,
you just have to work longer, you know.
Sure.
It just doesn't seem like they're that interested in making the extra money.
Right. It's more that, like, yeah, like they didn't give you like straight up way better versions or way cooler cosmetics that are only available in certain ways. They're just like, here's just a little thing. It's got this paid stuff. If you want to do that, great. Otherwise, whatever. Have fun. You know, go manage democracy. And then, you know, it blew up and they were like, oh, so servers. I guess we're going to do that. All the other stuff we were planning to do, back burner.
Yeah. Well, I thought it looked hilarious and fun. It took almost no effort to understand how to play the game. It still has things for me to discover while watching. There's this guy playing with us online that seems to know what he's doing, and I just sort of follow him around and watch him pick up his stuff when he dies. Because he has way better guns than me.
One of the people that I watched play it, Andrew, have you gotten to the point where you have the gun that someone can reload for you?
So there are multiple guns that people can reload for you, and you have, as part of your loadout, instead of bringing a special weapon, you can bring like a reload pack and assist in reloading guns, and it's a couple guns. It's 4 or 5 of them. And you get something called assisted reload, and it helps a lot. Reloading the railgun takes a long time.
So basically, you are the literal like army guy that runs up and like sticks the shells in the back of the artillery cannon effectively.
Yeah. Don't run up too fast, or you'll get the back end gas and die.
It's like that, you know?
It's true. I saw a guy run behind a rocket launcher, and there he went.
It really has the vibes very good.
And its
lives are just expendable enough, you know?
It's so punishing in certain moments and so unpunishing after those moments, where like we were fighting for our lives on this bug mission, and we're just trying to get to the extraction, and someone's dying every few seconds, and you can call them back. They're not dead forever. You can call for reinforcements. Sure enough, the new reinforcement looks exactly like your Helldiver, and you get to play as them.
What are the chances?
Yeah, but you get like 15 of those to start the mission, and then they do resupply those over time. So you can kind of wait it out. If you're close to extraction and you think, okay, well, we can hold this position, we can reinforce our dude and get extra points for extracting everybody instead of just like leaving without him. So it's punishing to get there, right? And then if you can if we could just stabilize, if we get to the top of that hill and throw down some turrets, we could stabilize this. You know, pretty good.
I'm sure you see the like, all we have to do is get to the top of that hill. How bad could it be? I'm sure it's fine. And then
I'm sure there are no bug holes.
Oh no, mistakes.
I'm sure there won't be any bug holes that erupt, or a bot dropship that is triggered when you get to the top of that hill.
Probably not.
None of that.
Yeah. I did raise the flag for Super Earth and then saluted it. It was pretty good on certain missions. It's a very fun game. If you have not seen it, go watch some videos. The intro video to the game gives you pretty much everything you need to know about the vibe, and it holds true entirely, even while playing it. And the ability to emote, there are a lot of people that just like hugging. It turns out people really like hugging each other when they've survived reloading an ICBM under fire. All that's to say that I uninstalled Palworld.
Yeah, get him.
Good man.
Take that, Pokemon. Or
Pals.
Arc or Pals.
Arc?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The game's good. I don't want to dig it. I think there's like 2 million people still playing Palworld concurrently, I think. Or something like that. It's very popular. I understand why it's popular. I just feel like I got to the point of like busy work in that game. Oh, I gotta go hunt down five teleports across the map. I gotta go find a loopy pal who drops this thing when captured, and then I gotta get 15 of those to build the next thing for the base to get stone walls so that I can build.
And lo, you beheld the treadmill. Yeah. And then we're like, nah.
The treadmill was all right for a while, and then it really, yeah. And I played probably like 20 hours, and I only ran into that one boss tower that I had described to you guys before with the huge boss fight in it.
Huh.
It felt very odd to me.
That seems very sparse.
Yeah. It is in alpha though. I don't want to dog on it. It's
Yeah, that's
that
true.
type of game.
They've been like out there saying like, "Hey, it's early access. We have all these other things planned."
Yeah. I don't want to. I actually enjoy it. I get why people like it. I didn't get far enough to have like machine guns. I had unlocked the musket and I was like, it's a lot of work to build a musket. I'm just kind of like not into doing more work when I could be playing Helldivers. So we're just not going to do it. So that's why I got the uninstall. But I don't know. JJ, are you having as much fun with your game as I'm having with mine? Because I'm going to be hard pressed to not be Helldiving for the near future.
My game has something your game doesn't, Andrew.
Poker.
Yes, that too.
Not
Offline.
poker. Oh.
Steam Deck.
Ooh.
That's
There
what
you
this
go.
game.
I see.
And a Switch version, actually, also, by the way.
No.
Yes. Yes.
I'm now convinced that maybe, although someone did say they got Helldivers running on a Steam Deck and it's not terrible.
It's probably fine. I mean, I fully believe that you could make that work on a Steam Deck. You can't get it running on a Switch, though.
No.
This has a Switch version.
I think a lot of people are desperate for it to be running on an Xbox, but it is owned by Sony, so we'll see.
There's a whole thing about that.
See lawsuits between Microsoft and Sony and the FTC over the last 5 years.
Yeah. But I have gotten into a game called Balatro. I don't know where
this is poker.
Yeah. I don't know where this came from. Y'all know poker, though, right? We know what poker is?
Well, it depends on what type of poker we're talking about.
That's fair.
Right? I mean, are we playing with jokers? Are we playing Texas Hold'em? Omaha? What are we doing?
So really, let's explain. I'll start from here. Balatro is a run-based roguelike game.
Yeah.
Where the gameplay is making poker hands. That's the game. It might be easier. Here, let me share it and you guys can watch me start a run and hopefully that'll answer some questions here.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my... All right, I've got my screen set. So if you screen share... I should have tried to share you guys some videos of... I'll put some videos in the thing. All right, whenever you're ready, I think you're good to click the buttons. Okay, I heard something.
What up? I'm seeing it.
Oh, live, I see. Okay, watch stream.
I got it going.
I gotta full screen this. Okay. How do I...
There's no sound. I think I muted the sound because it was interfering with the call, but I can I don't want it to overpower because it'll overpower my microphone, I'm pretty sure. So
that's fine. I think people get the picture without the sound.
There's some very chill music. Don't worry.
Is it
so this is the beginning. I've hit new game at
triple
this point.
triple triad music style music, or is it more like elevator?
Closer to elevator for sure. Yeah. Maybe there's a happy medium. I don't know. Anyway, so we're starting a game here, right? I can pick my deck, and I can pick the stake. The stake is basically just the difficulty, like how hard do they make the game.
Okay.
You click play, and here we are, right? This is sort of the structure of a run. You have your scores on the left. You pick your opponent, which is these blinds, and there's a boss at the end of every round. You beat the boss, it ups the ante, which is like the level, and then you do that again and again and again, and 8 antes, and then you win, quote unquote.
Okay, straightforward enough so far.
We get cards, right? Every turn you start a hand, you get X card. You get X is 8 by default, so at the start of your run, you're always going to draw 8 cards.
Okay, so interesting. 8 is not an often number to make poker hands with.
Right, but as you'll notice on the left side of the screen here, you have hands and discards available. So for every time you're playing, you get a certain number of hands that you can make that will give you points towards meeting the goal, or you have a certain number of discards you can use. And that's not individual cards, that's like hands times that you can discard, right? You can discard up to 5 cards at a time, unless you have modifiers that change it. Anything can be changed with modifiers, right? Anything I'm saying, number of cards in hand, number of draws, number of discards, all kinds of stuff. So, say this hand that we have, I've got some aces in here. We've got something that kind of looks like it might start to be a straight, but those aces look pretty good. Let's go for those, right?
Okay.
So the other thing is that, hey, you know how poker, and sometimes people aren't always aware of like what the hands are and like what's exactly the rolls and like which hand is better than which other hand? Don't worry about it.
Gives it to you right here.
And not only does it give you the hands and the rankings, you can hover over them and it'll tell you like, hey, this is exactly how to make it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you're a total
But do you have to win when he's back on mic, I guess. When you're making a hand, does that mean you're going to have to waste cards? So like if you're going to try and make 2 pair, are you tossing 3 cards with that?
You don't have to, but you can. And there's strategic advantage to doing that for sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. So you're going to make a hand of something here.
2 pair.
So 2 pair, and then you tossed the 9 with it.
Because now I get an extra draw, right?
Right. Without having to discard.
Yeah. But if I just say I wanted to keep all the cards in my hand, like I needed that 9 for something, you can just keep the 9, right? Play those 2 aces or whatever.
Pair.
And then you only get the points for the cards that count as part of the thing, right? You saw as it was adding.
So you don't have to
9.
You could dump 4 as a hand.
You could just dump 5 random cards as a hand. It'll pick the highest one. You get that, and you're done.
Well, so some games require you to use the full hand, so you would have to fill in a 5th card no matter what.
This isn't that though.
Yeah, I'm just asking if that's one of the rules, and it sounds like it's not. So he's doing 2 jacks, and he's just playing them. So you don't have to fill it. Got it.
Threw your flush away.
Oh man.
Yeah, bad
Criminal.
poker playing here for sure.
Yeah,
but we get the gist.
Yeah.
So let me try and finish this hand really quick, and then I'll show you guys what happens between the games, because that's it's
almost like
starts getting crazy.
Gamified. Michael, are you a player of video poker in Las Vegas?
I have played it a time or two. Yes.
I feel like these people played video poker for about like 33 minutes. And they were like, that's cool. What if we made like a game where you didn't lose money? And then when confronted with making a game, they said, hey, we could like do all sorts of fun stuff you can't do in video poker because we're making a game, Yeah.
There it is. There's the full house.
Yeah. So you get a good hand, right? Eventually you hit a number of chips that's higher than that blind, and then you earn money. So that's the next thing, right? You earn money based on what you have left. And while you're just earning chips in the hands, now you cash out to dollars, which is just very like, whatever. We just need names for these things, right?
Right.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Dollars are a thing everybody knows. Why not make everything dollars, right? Why does it gotta be Gil?
Yeah. Don't make it weird. Just be normal. And now there's a very good tutorial when you first start playing that sort of explains all these things.
Why are there card packs on my screen? I want this game now.
Now you see. So there's multiple things going on here. First at the top are jokers. Jokers sort of exist up on the top and apply effects to your cards, your hands, your scoring. So basically you can use jokers to either add more chips to the number of chips that you score, or add multipliers to the multiplier that you get for each hand. So, let's look at these 2 jokers here real quick.
1 in 4 chance to upgrade level of played poker hand. Okay. Oh boy. Times 25%. Multiply for each blind skipped this run.
So it cuts down. Okay.
So essentially, like, you can choose to skip a a stage basically within a level, you get a small bonus for it, and then this card would become stronger.
Oh, right, because your run is not over just because we're between rounds.
Right. And so
is there the mechanic of clogging up things like in other games? Is that what these card packs do?
Clogging up.
Like if you were going to do a Slay the Spire run and you had a deck of cards, you would not want to pick cards all the time.
You start with a normal deck of 52 cards.
Mhm.
But my friend, that's boring. Let's change it, right?
Let's add some Celestial packs.
Actually, though, Celestial packs are specifically related to the hands. So let's take a look at one of these.
Okay.
Because there are other kinds of packs.
Choose. Oh, okay. Oh, whoa. Full house.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, okay. So whatever you turn in. So now you have incentive to go for certain types of cards. Got it.
Right. So,
okay, so
now
Full House is already
makes,
upgraded.
This screen makes more sense now, right? You see the number of, they all say level 1. They all have a blue column for the number of chips you get, that just by making the hand, you get this number of chips.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also get more chips for each card, right? A 10 is worth 10, a 9 is worth 9, so on and so forth, right?
And then
you can, then each hand has its own multiplier. But when you level the hand up, you increase the chips and the multiplier. And so then you can start stacking all these things on top of each other.
Oh my God. I want to play this all night long.
It's so good. I had a run that I ended. I got to ante 10. So the game ends at 8, and then it lets you keep playing for fun if you want. I don't know what the max level is. Where I was earning hundreds of thousands of chips every single hand that I played.
Can you keep chips after your run?
No. After you beat the blind, whatever it is, you're done. And it doesn't matter how far over you are. The chips don't do anything other than it's like score effectively.
Mm-hmm. What keeps you making more runs after the first couple? What is the overarching goal of the game in the long run? Like Slay the Spire, you want to increase the power of your decks by completing runs because then you get new cards to run in your next runs. Or like Monster Train has like an end to the game you want to keep trying to get to. What's the big over goal of this roguelike?
Two things. Number one, you unlock more stuff as you play. So as you're playing, you'll run into new jokers. The more times you use certain jokers or certain cards, you'll unlock more things. As you meet certain conditions, having 5 of a certain kind of card, making a 4 of a kind with like cards that are all, the same card, basically, like 10 of hearts, like making a 4 of a kind of all 10 of hearts.
I'm gonna have to buy this on Steam and on my Switch because
there's no like meta progression, quote unquote, like that makes your game easier or something. It just unlocks more new wacky stuff. So you saw at the very beginning you could pick a deck. There are other decks, like this deck gives you an additional discard, the red deck. You can use a blue deck that gives you an additional hand to play every turn. There's you can unlock more decks as you play. One changes the way you earn money. Some let you pick. You're more likely to get certain hands when you're trying to level a hand up. So it's like, oh, I really want to get a pair. Well, the hand you've played the most often will always show up. So you could always keep picking the same one over and over if you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
There are some really wacky jokers. Like there's a joker I saw that lets you pick all cards count as face cards.
What?
They're just like, hey, if something cares about it being a face card, it counts, right? There's another card that says all face cards are worth plus 30 chips.
Okay.
And then another card which is all face cards have a plus 4 multiplier on them.
So put all that together.
Then there's a card that's like trigger the joker to the right of this an extra time, right? So you can start doing like this kind of stuff. I saw one that I didn't get to use, but lets you skip numbers when making a straight.
Oh,
what? That's crazy.
So play the flush. Play the flush.
Play the flush. No.
Well, so like I've selected a straight now, right? By the
that
card.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like look how insane this is. Yeah, but we're gonna play the flush here, obviously.
I feel like it was one of those videos where they're doing the thing opposite of what you want, So he was like gonna not play the flush just to hurt my eyes.
You mean an Ebony ad?
Oh yeah, like mobile ads. Oh yeah, Full House. There you go.
All right.
We call that engagement bait. Like, comment, subscribe on this video there, folks.
Don't do that.
That was quick.
Why did we only played 2 hands? Yeah, what happened?
He hit his blind.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Those multipliers got big.
So 450 was the number we needed to hit. We got 650. So now we're ready to move on again, right?
Okay, so now we'll go to ante 2. Or ante 3 or something.
Convert the left card into the right card.
So these are these are another kind of pack you can run.
Are you playing this on a keyboard?
I am. It works just fine with the controller.
Okay.
There's buttons mapped for all this stuff. It's
like
very
converting and dragging things with the controller makes me nervous.
You could just click on it and move them. It's very very.
We got different card packs.
Yeah, so the different card packs here, these are standard cards. So like these are going to be cards that are going to go into your deck, right? These card packs.
Okay.
I have highlighted a tarot card. There are also tarot card packs. The tarot cards are going to do something to cards that you have. So it will present you a range of cards, or you can hold it till you're in a match, right? If you want to hit a specific card for some reason. And then like this one, this death is going to transform one card into another card. So now you're going to have 2 aces of spades, for instance, or whatever, right? But let's look at these other ones. Let's add some crazy cards.
Do those changes persist, but from run to run? So like in this run,
until we get to a blind that we can't hit and you have to start over, it will persist.
Okay.
Not all of these look like normal cards.
No,
right? What's with the granite on the right here?
And gold.
50 chips, no rank or suit. Interesting.
So it's a card. You can play it. It will go for any hand because it has no rank, it has no suit, but it's worth 50. Whereas a normal card is worth only the value of the card on the face, right? An ace is 11, but everything else is like 10 or less. This is worth 50. That's a lot.
Pretty good.
This gold card.
That 9 is double.
No.
Plus 9, $3. Oh, you get money.
Oh,
if you hold it.
Well, if you haven't played it.
Got it.
So now I have this golden 9. Well, like now I actively don't want it. I want to hold it in my hand till the end of the round so I can get $3 for nothing, basically.
Yeah. But it's nice because you can still use it if you want.
And you totally can, right? Sometimes you need to finish that straight or whatever,
it's a
and the
dual
9
purpose
is there.
card. Yeah.
There are also a whole bunch of other effects. There's steal. A steal card gives a multiplier to your multiplier. It multiplies your multiplier if it's in your hand. There's cards with little seals you can put on them that do various things, like hold this or discard this card and you get an effect. Play this card, you earn money. All these kinds of other things that you can get on the cards. So I think I like this money one. Let's take that. Take that voucher too. Why not?
Sure. What's the voucher for?
Oh, sorry. The vouchers are like expensive perks, but they're persistent across every round and across all of your play session. That usually they have like big, wide-ranging abilities. So one will be like, hey, in the shop, everything is like 25% discounted. Or this one gives you permanently +1 hand you can play across every round until you lose, right?
Here you must play 5 cards.
So this is a boss round, right? So the final ante of the final level of
round of an ante. Yeah.
Round of an ante. Thank you, Andrew. Use the correct terms, JJ. Has an ability. So like this one, you don't get a choice. You have to play 5 cards.
Got it.
Other ones are like, hey, every time you play a hand, we're going to discard 2 random cards. Or every time you, all your multipliers are halved. Or this one, like if you play a spade, it doesn't count, right? Like any spades you play don't count for anything. You can play them, they just aren't going to be worth anything, right? You can use them to make your flush or whatever, but it's going to be worth no points potentially. So a whole bunch of weird range of abilities.
The weird CRT jitteriness that they've added to this game keeps making me think my feed is bad. There it is. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
You can turn it all the way.
Don't do it. It's bending the screen. It's making me seasick. That's funny though.
That's amazing.
They straight up have a filter for CRT that you can just
It
slide.
bends.
I love it.
It bends the screen, JJ.
Like, and I know it's like it's a CRT monitor, right? You can turn the CRT-ness harder.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that hand.
Yeah. There we go. Good start. That seems like a good start.
Yeah, because then it leaves him a open-ended straight draw.
Yeah.
Didn't hit it, but
Would you
take the full house, right?
Full house, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great start. Two great hands off the bat. And there you go. Here's your
That should put us over.
boom. Yeah, that'll do it.
So we'll see. So you earn a bunch of money at the end here, right? We'll cash out, go back to the shop, and I'll show you guys the start of a next round, and then you kind of get the idea here.
Yeah. Very creative.
You've already got Andy hooked.
Yeah. I mean, I like poker-based games in general. Back in the early days of my phone, I just had one game on there, and it was like a free Texas Hold'em thing. You know, it was just silly.
And so here's one of the. So I bought that Joker that's +1 hand size because having more cards pretty good. And this one is every played card counts for scoring. Now I have incentive to play 5 cards every time, right? Because I have like an ace, a king, and a jack. That doesn't make anything. Then I have like 2 3s. Now I get points for the ace, the king, and the jack, as well as my 2 3s, right?
Right.
So it really has like some wild pass. And it's fun because you can't predict what you're going to do every round. It's going to have to be different because you're going to get different stuff. And then you have to make different hands based on what you get, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're at the start of ante 2 here. And we'll probably stop here, but you can see like now all the numbers are higher, right? The small blind here is now what, 800? 800 chips. And, you know, it only just goes up. I'll click on the run info stuff so you can kind of see how there's more information there that shows you like at any time you can look at this screen, you can access all the kinds of hands you have. You can access what the blinds are, because something else that is important, you kind of have to look ahead at the boss blind, which we can see here.
The hook discards 2 random cards per hand played.
You really don't want to get stuck with like, I need to hold certain cards in my hand.
If he's going to yank them out at the end of each.
Destroying them, right, yeah.
Right.
Very inscription-y.
Very much so. Yeah. And you want to be playing around it a little bit. And like, for instance, you'll see the boss at the end says all hearts are debuffed, right? So like you won't get any points for hearts. And you come across this Joker that's like, all your hearts gain bonus chips and bonus multipliers.
You're like, yeah, that sounds great.
It does until you then
debuffed. Yeah,
until you end up with no points at that round.
Right. Yeah. If in general in a game design like this, the boss's rules are going to trump yours, right?
For sure.
Yeah, you can increase the multiplier as high as you want, and then it tells you don't get anything for it. So yeah, it is a really cool game. I highly, highly recommend it. I think it's like $15. I don't know how much it is on Switch. It probably can't be more than $15. It's completely worth it. This is the first game I played in a long time where I experienced time travel.
Time travel?
That's I know what he's talking about. That's high praise.
Oh yeah, it's like that thing where you're like looking, you start playing the game and you're like, I'll just play a few rounds. And then all of a sudden it's like 11:38 p.m. and you're like, wait a minute. I thought it was 7. What just happened? I just time traveled.
That was my second night of Helldivers.
Yeah, it's one of those like almost Civ like in the way where you're just like, okay, I could just do another one though real quick.
Civ, oh man, the king of time travel, I guess, if that's the term.
And I definitely I had some animations sped up in this version because I've played it enough times. Like I sort of know what I'm doing, and I just click the cards and the animations go. It's much easier to follow the first time, and like how much the cards are worth, how many points you're getting for them, how the multipliers apply, and like when you start getting into it, it really has so much depth because all these combinations you can make with the various Jokers. I sort of told you about all the crazy ones you can get where like skip numbers in a straight or make everything into face cards or actually transform all your cards into face cards. Like you could also do things like that with some of the cards.
Okay.
And it, you get there and then you're like, oh my God, I have this hand that's worth like 1,000,000 points. You win, you're like, this is so great. And then it's like, well, next hand now. Like, I hope you better draw something good again, right? Because, having 1,000,000 points of this hand doesn't help you for the next one, right?
Very good.
It really has that really easy, like, play again, play again, play again, just so fun
And I'm
way.
sure with the chill music underscoring it all, that helps just sort of like lull you into the time slip.
Yeah, Andy was talking about video poker. It's like a very good cross between video poker and like Slay the Spire. Right?
That's literally what I was thinking of, was like Slay the Spire and video poker combined. Absolutely. But that's what I was asking about, the like overworld kind of like what you take between runs, because Slay the Spire, less than Monster Train or Inscription, is more like, I just kind of want to keep upgrading that warrior deck. I guess I'll go back to upgrade that warrior deck, and there's not really like a story as much as there is, just sort of continuing on. Maybe more like a Loop Hero a little bit. Michael, we were talking about that after one of the pods.
Yeah.
Has a little story, I guess, but still kind of one of those, like, I just want to upgrade the town.
So, for instance, in this, I've only won one game, right? Like, gotten to ante 8 or above, and that one went to 10, and then my combo kind of capped out on points. I couldn't get it high enough to pass the blinds.
Mm-hmm.
And after winning that run, I unlocked a bunch of new jokers that were like really powerful, but only for hands I had never made on that run. So it was like that run, I had a bunch of multipliers for 2 pair. My 2 pair was like level 11 by the time I got to the end. And it was worth like more than I think a straight flush was at the start of the game. Way more. It was like times 12 for every 2 pair I made, and then like 200 chips or something. It was ridiculous. And then plus all the multipliers and stuff from the cards themselves.
Right.
That's
And
crazy.
I would and so then like I got to the end of that run and I'd made like 32 pairs and all these other hands, but I'd never made a 3 of a kind, I'd never made a 4 of a kind, I never made a straight. Right. And then at the end, it unlocks. It's like, here's a joker that makes all your straights worth times 3. Because you never made a straight. Right. And then it goes into the shop and you'll see it someday. Right. And here's one for all the flushes that you make are now worth 1.5 or whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so much like crazy builds that you could unlock just by like hitting the right conditions. I know there's certain builds you can unlock by having certain numbers of like steel cards in your deck or certain kinds of gold cards. And so I'm just curious to see like what kind of outlandish combos you can do, because like, especially if you know a lot of poker and like you kind of understand the odds of drawing certain cards, you can kind of force stuff. 8 is a lot of cards,
Yeah.
So if you want to force making flushes, you can kind of force it to give you to like mulligan and get the right cards to get a flush every time. So then it just becomes a fun idea of like, all right, well, how much crazy like bonuses can I find to stack on top there?
Very, very fun. Very fun. Oh boy. I think, Michael, it's not going to be as complicated for you to explain something to me as that.
Hopefully not.
You mentioned something earlier today and I was like, what are you even talking about? So we have like 5 minutes. What do you mean the heck weapons for? I did say Helldivers like 18 times. What do I care?
You broke your own.
Come on, dude.
I broke my own rule. No. The new weapon level 4s in Champions of the Continent. You said they add 30% for Hallowed. What is that?
So have you started the new story?
Nuh-uh. And I have been experiencing some slight burnout, and that's why I feel low about not being able to pull characters because I'm free to play. I feel low that a lot of stuff takes me too much time now. Like, it took me too long to beat Hammy because I had some personal stuff going on that I missed some of the points or the free rubies. If you want to do a duo, it takes like a whole night. Everything that's like kind of left in the game for me personally takes like a whole night. Like if I want to go beat a duo, I have to spend 2 hours, dialing it in. If I want to go beat the 2 towers I haven't beaten level 5, I got to spend 2 hours dialing it in. And it just kind of feel like I don't know. I don't know if I still have the energy, and I don't dislike the game, but I just got a little low on it. So I haven't started the new story yet.
Yeah, reducing the time that it takes to build and tinker with teams, I think, would improve quality of life for everyone who plays the game.
There's so much tinkering now. Like 1 or 2 accessories you forget about could change the entirety of a run.
Yeah, and there's
against a
so many
boss.
accessories now too. On top of that, right?
Yeah.
But without really spoiling anything,
There's a new enemy type.
So there was if you remember at the end of the last story, there was that new layer of the map, where your team has been erased from everyone's memory.
Mm-hmm.
So the new story starts out in that world, and there is a new type of enemy called Hallow Fiends compared to the Hell Fiends that we were fighting before.
Mm-hmm.
And there is correspondingly a new grade of weapon, the arcane weapons. And
Okay.
much like all the previous weapons, they are upgradable and they have slots, specific locked slots for you to slot things into. And in this case, once you unlock them all, you get 2 ability slots and then 2, I'm not going to remember which type. It's the soul that has the little outline of the person on it.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 stat boosting slots, and all 4 of those are rainbow slots.
Oh my goodness.
But much like the hell weapons before them, they have passive bonuses for the levels that you upgrade them. And whereas the previous, I guess, level 3 of the hell weapon would get you plus 30 damage passively to hell fiends, the new one at level 3 will get you correspondingly plus 30 damage to hallow fiends.
So we need to build a bunch of them.
Well, so that's the thing. So they unlocked the 4th level of all of the fortune weapons, or not just fortune weapons, but all the sacred weapons for this. And there's a bit of a wrinkle. So at level 4, the new weapon set goes from passive plus 30 to passive plus 40 against the new enemies, the Hallow Fiends. But the previous weapons go from plus 30 against Hell Fiends to plus 30 against both Hell and Hallow Fiends.
So, if you don't want to make all new weapons, just upgrade
Make some
whichever
old
ones you
weapons.
have to
Mm-hmm.
level 4, and then you get 30%. And that's like pretty good.
Pretty
And
good.
I guess if you need to push it that much farther for the extra 10%, right?
Make
Those
the
other
new
ones
ones
are there for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you really need bonuses on 2 skills or for whatever other kind of
Right.
maxing you're trying to do.
The 2 skills is pretty nice.
I don't think in JP they even added any more weapon achievements, so we really don't have to keep chasing weapons anymore.
No, so it really kind of becomes up to you at this point and what you want to do with the weapons.
Yeah. Okay, well that's kind of nice. At least you don't have to stress about chasing every single thing all the time anymore. I do probably need to build some more armor sets. I'm starting to run out of like high-end armors.
Yes. Yeah, the armor sets and the armor feats continue.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, and for the last minute, are we all kind of running out of characters to level? Not being big spenders?
Starting getting to that point, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Like Hammy and the 2 that I just pulled are getting close, but it's kind of like not, do I want to be leveling like the last levels on like my arena guys, I guess? I don't know. Like doesn't feels bad putting them on hunt teams, but you can.
Yeah, do the hunts for the gold guide stones and then just cash them in for generics.
Yeah. I think that maybe we need to keep an eye on the Discord to see what people are starting to trade in guide stones for the future, right?
Yeah, I don't think guide stones have too much of a use long term.
Yeah.
The gold
Silvers
ones, the gold ones for as you draw new 5 stars for leveling them quickly.
Maybe silvers for starting to get some of those seals for when characters get 6-star. But That's about it.
I suspect they're going to add a pretty quick on-ramp for ways for people to earn more of those seals, though, because otherwise some people will just never get 6 stars.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, if people want to find out, JJ, how to play cards while they're waiting for their dropship to get to Melivon 4 and fight off the bug invasion.
Yeah, folks should check out Balatro. It's on Steam. It's also on the eShop. Check it out.
Gift Andy a copy.
Yeah, get in there. It is a great game because it's very small. Anyway, y'all saw it. Play some Balatro. But you can send those emails to podcast@wewergamers.com. wewergamers.com, a real email address. podcast@wewergamers.com.
Yeah, I think I need to put I'm going to record it right now. Hey, this is one of those episodes where maybe you want to watch it on the YouTube.
Yeah, I got some video in there of Balatro. Andy, I'm sure, edited it to make it look good, unlike what I was doing because my play was bad.
I'm gonna also. I can't change that. I can just make it look good. But
I was gonna say, can you dial up the CRT on the rest of the video?
I can't change the fact you threw away a flush at least once.
Yeah, it's fine. The other nice thing about Balatro, I will say, is you could just quit a run at any time and pick it back up wherever.
Nice.
It's all like there's no time pressure at all. You could just sit there and look at your hand for an hour if you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
So
I'll probably also edit in some Helldivers footage. So because I know, why not?
Got to manage democracy.
You've got to manage your democracy.
Oh, Andy, I saw this. They releasing on what's today? Monday. Releasing on Wednesday. There is a remake of Brothers.
The game,
all done in Unreal 5.
I'd wait for that to go on sale to play it.
There is not. I was going to say, I'm on the store page. There's not a price associated with it, so I don't know what it'll cost when it launches. But we'll see on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you were high on that one. That was why it stuck in my mind.
You never played it, right?
It's in my library, the original.
I don't want to ruin it for you. It's a game. It sure is a game.
Yep, one of these days.
I don't know how I'm going to stop myself from buying and playing this Balatro.
It looks so much fun.
I got so much other shit to do. I've got so much in COTC to do. The towers, man. I am so devoid of interest in the towers that I literally do them Sunday night while I'm falling asleep at 10 o'clock when they're about to expire, and then I don't touch them again until the next ones are about to expire.
Yeah, it's
just
they
don't
make it
care.
really hard to care about them.
Not a good feeling, and it drags down my other feelings about the game. It's just so much busy work.
Yeah, I think maybe you just you do the. I guess at this point, if you have all the stones, you do the first level of the tower to exchange for the Traveler Seal and just bail on them until they put in the quality of life update.
Yeah, maybe that's the answer. I really like getting the other stuff like soul shards because I don't want to farm anymore.
Sure,
but it's just another form of farming, I guess.
They've just diversified your farming portfolio.